All right, guys. Final score with another ECU football player. Everybody knows how big of an ECU football fan I am. I've done some interviews with Luke Fisher, with Greg Grandison, soon to be Terrence Copper. Now I had another Peach Bowl guy to my list. You know, that legendary Peach Bowl team. Everybody loved it. ECU got the big win over NC State. This guy, I'm not going to say little guy because I'm a little guy too. He's bigger than me, I'm sure. But on that field, as little as he was fast as lightning and made one of the key plays right there at the end. I actually thought he was going to take it back for a touchdown on that punt return on that last possession. With us today is number 27, Dion Johnson. Welcome to the show, Mr. Johnson.
Hey, I appreciate it. How you doing, Steve?
Doing good, man. And like I said earlier, before we got started, can't tell you how much I appreciate doing this. It's an honor. Just have great memories of that 91 team, and you were definitely one of the big parts of that team with that explosive offense they had.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you for being a fan.
Yeah, no doubt. Before we get started talking about your years at ECU, we have to open up on a sad note. As we were talking early in the week, me and Dion were talking back and forth. Dion found out one of his friends from high school and one of his teammates and a guy he went against a lot. And you guys may remember him, former NFL football player for the Arizona Cardinals, Kwame Laster, unexpectedly passed away this week. And Dion, I know it kind of took you by surprise, which it did me too. But you know, you went against this guy, you played with him. What are some of your memories of Kwame?
Oh man, I just remember, man, he was a competitor, man, and I just want to God bless his family, man, and throw out some prayers for them, man, and hope everything come together. Yeah, like I said, man, he was my quarterback in high school, man. He was a cornerback, free safety. You name it, he did it, man. Went against him in junior college. I went to Coffeyville. He went to Butler. We had some like legendary showdowns, man. They one year they beat us for the JCC championship. Next year we beat them, man. It was hey. He gonna be missed, man.
Yeah, and those people don't remember. You know, Kwame played some seasons with I remember him with the Arizona Cardinals, wore number 42. He was, you know, just a great athlete. And I told you earlier the week, the reason I remember him so much is not only because he played, but his last name, my mother's last name was Leister before she got married. You don't see many Leisters in the NFL, but we definitely want to send our condolences out to his family, and we've got all of them in our thoughts and prayers. Hope everything goes well, and you know, never easy to lose anybody, but when you lose somebody unexpectedly like this, it's really tough, and our prayers go out to Kwame's family.
Yeah, just all around great guy, man. So
yeah. All right, so let's talk about you a little bit. Let's talk about you went to junior college, right? Now hold on, let's talk about where'd you play high school at?
Actually, man, I started off playing at Denby High School. It's up in Newport News, Virginia.
Right.
I played 2 years at Denby, 9th and 10th grade. So this rule came out, like if you move out your zone, you got to go to a certain school.
Right.
So my mom and dad, they moved out the zone, which I thought I still was going to Denby, but I ended up going to Mitchfield, which is only like 2 miles away from each other. So
wow.
I finished up my 11th and 12th grade at Mitchfield.
Okay. So what colleges were talking to you about coming to play football for there? Did you have many colleges come to? I know you went the junior college route, but did you have any colleges talking to you about playing for them?
Oh man, I had Clemson, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, basically every college.
Right. Well, with that, just one thing about it, you're a fast guy, and you definitely cannot. I've learned over the years coaching, you can't teach speed. I wish there was some way you could, but you can't teach speed.
Right.
So you go to junior college route. You had a lot of success in junior college. Talk about your years in junior college, where you went to. I know you talked a little bit about it going against Kwame.
Man, I played with some great players in junior college, man. I played with my roommate was Darnell Walker, man. He played cornerback for the San Francisco 49ers.
I remember him.
Remember that? I played with Saran Stacy. He went on to Alabama. Then he was a running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. I played with Greg Irvin. He played for Oklahoma. He was a running back. It was just so many. Keith Treller, man.
Yeah.
Lineman for the Denver Broncos. It was so many great athletes at Coffeyville, man. It was just filled with athletes.
So you finish up your junior college years. Now, how did ECU come in the picture?
So my last year of my junior college, I went on a couple recruiting trips. So I think we was only allowed 3, but maybe I made it took like 7. So. So the last one I went down there to East Carolina, man. Steve Logan came out. He's the one that recruited me, Coach Logan.
Right.
Went down to East Carolina. I think when I got down there, they was taking finals, so it wasn't a lot of action going on. It was like I really didn't have no. I guess it was a guide to show me around because everybody was taking exams and stuff.
Right.
So I went down there and visited for a couple of days, and I came back, and I kind of was talking to Coach Logan, man. He's like, you're gonna be a focal point on our offense. So if you want to come here, you open to come there. So that's the main reason. One of the main reasons I went to East Carolina.
So that takes care of my next question. What was the selling point? What got you at ECU? That was Coach Logan telling you you're gonna be a big part of that offense. And what? I talked to Terrence Copper earlier, and he was talking about how that offense with Coach Logan was. What did you think of that offense when you first got there?
You know what, man? When I first got there, man, the offense was like in limbo. It was like they didn't know if they wanted to pass. They didn't know if they wanted to run the spread. They didn't know if they wanted 4 receivers. They didn't know if they wanted to be a running team. To me, it was confusing.
Right.
Because I was playing like running back, receiver, punt return, kick return, running back, receiver, punt return, kick return. And it was confusing, man.
Yeah, but when you finally said, that first year you're there, y'all go 5-6. But at the end of that, y'all played at Georgia. You finish. You almost go down to Georgia and almost beat Georgia, and you lose 19-15 that year.
Right.
You had a lot of, there was some close games here. The Virginia Tech game was a 1-point loss. Then South Carolina just wasn't a good game at all. But you end the year winning 2. You won 3 out of your last 4, and there's a lot of buzz going into your senior year about you got Jeff Blake, you've got Luke Fisher, you got an explosive offense, and you've also got some pretty good guys coming back on defense. Robert Jones. I mean, Robert Jones was consensus All-American, preseason All-American. Right. So there's a lot of buzz about ECU. I mean, when y'all started your practices before that year, were y'all feeling like, okay, we got something here?
And when you looked around, you seen the talent out there on the field, but we had to put in the work too to get in that situation. So we saw the talent out there. We just had to put in the work. But once we put in the work, it all came together. And
I think, and like you said, once you guys decided what y'all were going to do as far as your offense, and I mean, wow. I mean, it just took off. And that first game against Illinois really set the stage. Even though it was a loss, it set the stage for everything that was coming on that year.
Right. Yeah, I think Coach Logan, he changed that whole offense around, man. He really did. He changed that whole offense around.
Now, what was it at the end of the Illinois game? Because y'all came back, got within 7 points, and there was a controversial call at the end that a lot of people feel like cost y'all the game. Was it a taunting penalty or something, or it was a celebration?
I think it was a excessive celebration.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I I've got that game. I actually got that game where I can watch it. I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah,
I watched that a couple times, man. I'm like, I really don't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I can remember. Didn't see it now. And talking to in my interview with Greg Grandison, he was the same way. He was like, they really robbed us of that one. But that loss, if you can say it was a moral win, but it proved that you guys could play with the big boys. Illinois at the time had a pretty good program going, and you went down to Illinois and probably should have won that game, but that just set the stage for the rest of the year. You guys just go on a roll.
I can tell you how our team felt after that. So, when you go in the situation and you lost, but you come out the field feeling like you won.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what kind of celebration it was. It was like yeah, we won.
Yeah, I had and the teams I coached, we played a team that was like the defending state champion, the first game of the year. Nobody had given us a chance to do much, and we hung right with them and come down to the end. We lost but it was controversial play at the end. But we lost by like 3, but I went out of that game feeling like, okay, now I know what we got. We can play with anybody. If we play with them, we can play with anybody. And we ended up going to the state championship game that year, lost. But like you said, you walked off the field thinking, okay, I know what we can do now.
Right.
So what was it like playing with Jeff Blake?
Man, just you run across quarterbacks, man. I call it like this. I say you run across a quarterback, and then you run across a real quarterback. Well, in my eyes, he was a real quarterback.
Right. Definitely. I think if you ever got you running like some of the most dangerous things I've seen with you, if you run a crossing pattern across the middle and you get around and he puts it right there in front of you with that speed, oh my gosh, it was off to the races after that.
Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff.
All right, well, you beat South Carolina. I think that was the first time ECU had ever beat South Carolina. Beat them 31-20. Beat Akron 56-20. You go down to Syracuse, number 15 Syracuse. Your first, what would be your big test right down this stretch? And really, you go down there and get the win 23-20 at their place, and everybody's really talking now. So how did it feel after that game?
Man, that game right there, that opened up the floodgates right there.
Yeah,
I think we started off that game. They scored, they kicked it off to us, and I ran it back, and they called a penalty. They called a holding penalty. So that got called back. So then we drive. So I think it was Clayton that scored. Clayton Driver,
yeah.
Yeah. And it was a good game. I think I had 157 total yards in that game, receiving yards.
That offense just got better and better every week, it seemed. I mean, and this is pretty much after this game. It's pretty much when the whole "we believe" stuff that started then. When, I know, talking to Luke and talking to Greg Grandison, one of the things when the fans met y'all back at the Kinston Airport.
Oh yeah, I was like, so let me talk about the fans.
Yeah.
So we on the airplane, so we like, how you come to, Greenville not real big, so I'm thinking everybody gonna be asleep, man. We come back in town, ain't nobody gonna know we even back in town. So
right.
Playing, man, like everybody in the city out there, man.
I can remember that very well. While we're on that,
everybody in the city of Greenville is out there, man, greeting us.
Yeah. Coming
off the plane.
Yeah. While we're on that subject, what was it like playing at Ficklin? I mean, what was your first impression of going to Greenville and playing at Ficklin?
Well, coming from a junior college, man, that's that crowd right there. I never played in a crowd that big, so So I'm all about show and tell, so I'm gonna show you something so you can go tell somebody else about me, right?
Well, the next game is probably, besides the NC State game, it's probably the biggest game of the season for y'all, in my opinion. And
Right.
playing Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's number 23 at the time. You guys have just moved into top 25. You're at number 20.
Right.
You're down late in the game. It's 23-16, I believe. You guys go down the field and score, make it 23-22. But instead of going for the tie, you go for two. Jeff Blake gets the carry across the middle, and it probably the loudest I've heard Ficklin. And I mean, I haven't been there a whole lot, but probably the loudest I've heard Ficklin was when Blake got that 2-point conversion and y'all took the lead.
It was all or nothing. It was all or nothing. That's what we was talking about, all or nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that really sets off the We Believe crowd then. I mean, everybody's going crazy for this team. But
man, like after that we believe, I call it the We Believe movement.
Yeah.
Man, I see We Believe everywhere now.
Yeah, I mean that was everybody got behind that We Believe movement, and I mean really was pushing this team. And you move up to number 17, get a win over Tulane, then go to Southern Miss. With Southern Miss at the time, and I can remember all through because my cousin was an equipment manager there in the early 80s. I went to a lot of games, but Southern Miss at the time was a big rival for ECU. Y'all put the smackdown on them 48-20 at their place. And then the big
48-20 place.
Yeah. And then the Virginia Tech game, the last game of the season. Virginia Tech's always a tough game, but y'all get the win late. Greg Granson takes the interception back for a touchdown, and y'all get the win. And just like that, y'all are 10-1. I mean, the best record in ECU history.
Virginia Tech game, you know what's ironic about that game?
What's that?
The year before they came to Ficklin Stadium, one of their players took a touchdown back and won the game for them. So we go down there to Blacksburg, and Greg Grandison take a touchdown back and win the game for us. Man, how ironic is that?
Yeah, that is ironic, and that's a big win. But now you're going into season's over with. You're 10-1.
Right.
The thing that worried me, because I can remember back in '83 when that team went 8-3, and their only losses were all three of the Florida schools: Florida State, Miami, Florida, and the University of Florida, and they lost by like a combined 10 points, and they didn't get to go to a bowl game. Now, I didn't think y'all would not go to a bowl game, but my worry was, these guys are not going to get the respect they deserve and go to a good bowl game. I just know how ECU had been disrespected in the past. But what was the feeling? Were y'all feeling like, man, they better give us what we deserve?
Man, I just think, man, it was like we making it to a bowl game, so whatever they give us, we're gonna be satisfied.
Right. Right, but everything lines up perfect. Y'all get a New Year's Day bowl, and then to top that, you get it against NC State. What did you feel? Did you feel like NC State was disrespecting y'all?
See, this is my thing. See, I'm from Virginia, so
right.
From North Carolina, in-state North Carolina rivalries. I wouldn't know too much about that.
Right.
But since I'm going to East Carolina, so right now I'm a North Carolinian, right?
That's right. That's right.
So now North Carolina can't disrespect me. So that's how it was. I mean, it was a little disrespect going on.
Oh, definitely, because
it was definitely. I seen a couple of interviews where the guys were like, we gonna show them who really run North Carolina, and they who was East Carolina, and it was just going down like that.
Well, before the little interviews they had as the game was getting ready to come on, where it went back and forth from the ECU players to the state players. There's one up there, and I cannot place his name, but he is, he's just really. I remember watching it that day, and just making my blood boil because I'm like, really, dude, really, you
like a big lineman, right?
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, it was a big lineman, and he was talking about.
I don't know his name. Yeah, after we beat him, I really don't know his name then.
Well, you know, of course, that was just y'all come out, and the first half is I think you were up at halftime by 3 on a big pass play. Was it Gallimore that caught the touchdown there right before the half to put y'all up?
Gallimore.
Yeah.
Like the Gallimore before the half ended. Yep.
But you look at what y'all had though, as far as the weapons Blake had. You had Clayton Driver, you had Luke Fisher, Hunter Gallimore, you had Cedric Van Buren out of the backfield. You guys were stacked, and then you had Tom Scott over there protecting Blake.
Yeah,
You guys could put up some numbers. That offense was just people don't realize how explosive that offense was.
Man, but you know what's crazy about that? Like I started, man, and the guy behind me, Pete Zolfi. You remember that name?
Yeah, I remember that name.
Man, Pete Zolfi was Pete Zolfi was a baller, man.
But you know, and I mean that's what I'm saying. You Logan had that offense where if one of you guys had to go out, you had somebody to come in for you.
Right. I got hurt, man. That to just fit a piece of puzzle in, man, and just keep the offense moving, man.
Yeah. So you're up at half. Third quarter is just a disaster. Next thing you know, it's 34-17 NC State and it's late in the third quarter. So what are y'all thinking on the sidelines? I mean, are y'all thinking this game's over, or the whole we believe is still alive over there on the sideline? Y'all say we can do this.
Nobody over on that sideline never thought we was out of that game. Nobody.
Yeah,
I seen nobody with their head down. Nobody sitting on the bench with their head down. It was like, hey, let's finish this.
Yep. The defense starts to come out. They make a few stops. Offense gets back on track, and next thing you know, it's 34-30, and the defense makes another stop.
And you know what? I want to throw a shout out to Jerry Dillon, man. He played a hell of a defense.
Jerry Dillon, Kumalai,
Jerry Dillon. Yes.
Yeah, the defense really settled down after that third quarter. So it's 34-30. State's getting ready to punt, and here comes Dion Johnson. I honestly thought you were going to break that punt return, and it probably is a good thing you didn't, because the time we took up a little bit more time, but. Wow, I mean, a lot of people don't talk about it. Everybody talks about, and with good reason, Luke catching the touchdown. But you set him up you set us up in good field position.
Right. So, about that punt return. First off, man, I want to throw a shout out to Andrew Ward for missing that block. Yeah, that's funny. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, But you also scored a touchdown in that rally, too. You got around the end.
Right.
You took a pass around the end and scored. I remember that play. You had a big game that game.
Right.
But so you guys of course, that drive, though, what was the feeling like on that drive? I mean, what were y'all saying in the huddle?
Man, basically, man, just give Jeff some time and, catch the ball and let's do this.
Yeah, and
it was like routine, man. It's like we've been in that predicament all year long, so like nothing could phase us. So it was like, let's get the job done. Let's finish this. Yeah.
So you get the score. Luke Fisher gets the score. Everybody remembers that play, but we've seen it. I've probably seen it thousands and thousands of times. But State gets the ball back with some time left. It gets down the field. Gets in field goal range. They go for the tie, because back then there was no overtime, which I was like,
no overtime, right? It was no overtime back.
No overtime back then. So, I was like, what? If this game is up in a tie, Oh gosh, and I was like, at the time I was like, how in the world can they go for a tie here? But
Right.
they're looking to save face. They don't want to lose to ECU, and
Right. They didn't want to lose the ECU.
no.
No.
But what were you watching the field goal? Could you watch it? Because I mean, some of them say, "Well, I didn't even see it. I couldn't watch."
See, I didn't even see it. I don't even think I was. I know I wasn't watching.
Fortunately, it comes. He's off to the right and a little short, and ECU gets the win.
Right.
Well, can't I know you can't describe that feeling of beating an in-state rival like NC State on
That's right.
a New Year's Day bowl game, the Peach Bowl, and everybody will always remember that game. I've watched it I don't know how many times, and it gets better every time to me. So I know that was just a great feeling right there.
Man, I would just want to tell all them NC State players, man, thanks for eating crow, man.
That's great.
I want to thank them for eating crow, man.
Yeah,
that's right.
well, and with good reason, because there was not, and to a certain point to this day, it doesn't seem like even, you look at the Carolina coach this year after the way ECU beat them a couple years ago, and they asked him, this is your first time going back to Greenville since that day that you got beat. What are you thinking about? He said, I don't even remember that game. Well, I do. I was there. You got beat 70-41. I remember it. Yeah. So, but you get drafted by the Oilers. Did you ever go, get to play with the Oilers?
No, I made it through the first wave of cuts. Then I got cut, and then they said they was gonna call me back. They never called me back. So I worked out for a couple of teams. Then I ended up going to Canadian League, playing down with Doug Flutie.
Oh, really? See, I did.
Yeah.
So you got to play with Flutie. That had to be something there. How was it playing with Flutie?
Oh man, you ain't gonna never get the ball because he gonna run it. So,
Now Flutie was something else. Now that's another guy that didn't get all the respect he deserved in the NFL.
He was a good quarterback though, but I think like a running back than a quarterback.
Yeah, they don't give short people a lot of credit. I can tell you that firsthand. Well, what are you up to now, bud?
Oh man, I'm a subcontractor for Xerox, man.
And you living up in the Virginia area?
Yeah, I'm staying up in Hampton, Virginia. I got a wife, 4 kids. I got two sons and 2 daughters.
Okay. Yeah. Now, any of them following in their father's footsteps with this athletic ability they had, like the speed?
My son, he just turned 10, man. So he got skills, man, but. It's so much other stuff out there, that got their attention now, like Fortnite. I really want to talk to the guy in the Fortnite. I really need to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents would agree with you on that. Fortunately, my daughter, she played it a couple times, but she didn't get the addiction like some of these kids have.
Right. Yeah, I need to have a conversation with that guy right there. Man, I tell him, man, if you put in the work, man, you're gonna get good results, man. That's the only thing I can tell him.
Exactly, and all they got to do is look at what you did,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Do you ever get down to Greenville to see any football games?
Well, the last time I've been there, we had I think it was the 25th Peach Bowl anniversary.
Right.
Me and my wife went down there, man. We had a good old time, man.
Yeah.
Met a couple guys that I ain't seen in a long time. Tim Marshman, Dave Daniels.
I remember Dave Daniels.
Yeah, Luke was down there too. Jeff was down there. Robert was down there. Yeah, that was fun, man.
All right. What do you think of this new coach you got? You think that's going to turn around things?
You know me, like my 30 coaches, you gonna have to show me.
That's right. Well, this guy's everywhere he's went, he's been a proven winner. So hopefully we'll get things back on track. All right,
I hope so.
I got to ask you, NFL playoffs. NFL playoffs. Who you got in the playoffs?
I'm leaning towards New England, man.
Oh boy.
Just because it seems like to me, man, when it's crunch time, man, they the only ones that show up. So.
Yeah, they've got a proven track record, but and I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm a Steelers fan, so I can't pull for the Patriots. But I'm seeing some chinks in the armor with the Patriots. I'm thinking it might be time for the Chargers to take over for a while.
Oh man, I have me and Phillip Rivers, man. He kind of owed me some money on his fantasy football, man.
Oh really?
When it comes to crunch time, man, he like to throw 4-5 interceptions, man. So.
Well, that's true now. But I think he's due this year. I think I've got him going to the Super Bowl. I got him against the Saints. But right. Very well, it's going to be tough for him in Foxborough. It's tough for anybody to go to New England and win, especially in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. Now, are you a Patriots fan, or is there another team?
No, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan.
Carolina Panthers, right? Did you? I don't know if you saw the longtime linebacker for the Panthers, Thomas Davis, they said they're going in another direction. He's going to be gone.
Yeah, that's a good athlete, man.
Yeah, Thomas Davis. It's not going to look the same without Thomas Davis at linebacker for the Panthers. Hopefully, he'll catch on somewhere else.
I wish him the best, man. But he's just as good as Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, Kuechly. Yeah, now that's somebody. Kuechly and Davis in the middle. I don't know if you will find another one at Carolina to take Davis's place and be as effective as those two were.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. In the NFL now, it's hard to find a good linebacker, man.
It is, and a lot of times defense wins championships. But
that's right.
We'll see about it. Well, hey, Mr. Johnson, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Like I said, I can't think.
Let me ask you one question.
Okay.
What do you think about Antonio Brown? You think he's going to be a Steeler next year?
You know what? It's been so much drama in Pittsburgh this last year. It looked like I like what the tight end for Pittsburgh said. It's like a season of the Kardashians, But I did see where the owner said it was hard to see Antonio Brown being at camp this year or this next year. I don't know. I really don't know. It's so much confusion right now. I think he says he wants to be back with Pittsburgh, but I don't know after pulling what he did. I don't know if he's going to be able to. What do you think?
I think he ended up at the Patriots, man.
Oh Lord, you really don't like me or something because you want to put my boy with the Patriots. You know what, man?
Man, it's obvious, man. Patriots get every good. Have you seen their track record?
I have. But I look at some of the Randy Moss, and look at the ones that they've still got there. Julian Edelman, they had.
Man, they had some receivers, like some real good receivers.
Yeah, maybe.
I remember when they first was Joey Galloway was there. I was like,
Joey Galloway, yeah. Remember Dion Branch?
Yep, Dion Branch.
Yeah,
wow.
They've had some good receivers there, and they still got Gronk. What do you think about Gronk? You think Gronk's back next year?
Man, maybe.
Gronk's a little beat up. Gronk,
a little beat up. Man.
Yeah, and Gronk's got other things on his mind too.
I think one more year Gronk might call it quits, man.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I think Gronk's got other stuff on his mind too. I think he's got TV and movies on his mind too.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys too. He's got all the talent in the world, and gosh knows, I would hate to have to be a safety or a linebacker and have to guard him. Gosh.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let me ask you this. Carolina's your guys. What do you think about Cam with his shoulder? You think he's going to ever get back straight?
Man, I was hoping we drafted a good quarterback in the draft this year.
So that's what you're looking for in the draft this year, quarterback.
I'm looking for a good quarterback, man.
Okay, well, it looks like they're going to have some quarterbacks in the draft, but if you watched, and I don't know if you watched or not, the last game he played in against New Orleans on that Monday night game,
right.
They lose 12-9, but
right.
If he's got any bit of arm strength that night, that last interception before the half, right there in the end zone, that really cost him that game. Because you're looking,
that cost.
Yeah, you're looking at least a field goal there, and that probably ties it up, or you might have got a touchdown out of it. But sometimes with Cam, he makes bad decisions, and I know he's had a lot of success in the NFL, but he's still got a lot of maturing to do. But I don't know if that shoulder ever gets straight again. I'm like you. If I'm the Panthers, I might start looking at a quarterback in the draft.
They need to. They really do.
Because you got a good running back.
Man, it's hit or miss with Cam, man. Some days he come out, man, he's all-pro quarterback. Next week he come out, man, he's mediocre, man.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to, maturity. Another play in that game. And this was right before the half, too.
Right.
He cost the Panthers a timeout. And, I mean, granted, it didn't end up being it because he threw the interception, but he makes a good run. And, granted, he can run the ball, but he makes a good run, gets the first down. Instead of getting back to the huddle or getting to the line and running another play quick or clocking the ball or whatever, he's out there putting the first down signal in front of a Saints player and ends up running 15 more seconds off the clock. And, that's just not good. That's just not being smart. And it cost the Panthers a timeout. So, I do like your coach. I do think he needs to keep the coach there, Ron Rivera. I think a lot of talk about maybe he's got one more year if he doesn't do anything, but I do like your coach.
Right. So, let me ask you this, as you down in Greenville. So, since you're down in North Carolina.
Right.
So, how was East Carolina signees this year? Did they get any signees?
They're actually signing. They've got some guys coming that they're really excited about. With this new coach coming in, it's like a breath of fresh air. You got a good quarterback there to build around, and you've actually got some good receivers and backs that played last year. I don't know how much you followed them. Snead is one of them. That's going to be good.
Yeah, Snead's good.
Yeah, he's going. And then you got that big running back Penix. That he's really aggressive and he likes to run aggressively. I like him, but I think this is talking to Terrence Copper earlier. He's on Pirate Radio a lot and he's around the team a lot. I told him, I wasn't getting my hopes up for 9 or 10 wins the first year with this coach, and the way he told me, he said, I will not be surprised if you see ECU get 9 or 10 wins this year. So he's really optimistic about it, and he's around it a whole lot. And so he's really buying into this coach with their new coaching staff.
Where do they usually recruit at? Where do they get their recruits from?
I think they get them from all over. Because they can't. It's hard to compete in North Carolina with you got NC State, you got Carolina, Duke to a certain extent. So they get them from a little bit of everywhere. Like the quarterback they got now was right there at Rose. So which he was pretty much. You knew he was going to come to ECU, but they get them from all over.
They need to come around this 757, man. This is flooded with talent.
Well, you need to get the word out. You need to get the word out and say, hey, I actually talked to, I think you remember Warren Bell?
Yeah, I remember Warren Bell, yeah.
He's doing a lot of work with Jeff Blake, and ECU should talk to them too about getting some recruits there, because I see they're working with a lot of young guys. That might be somebody ECU should be talking to too, and give you the recruiting advisor for the 757 area.
Man, they should. Who I need to talk to?
I don't know. I don't know who to tell you that, but you know, I'm sure all you have to do is call and say, "This is Dion Johnson. I played in '91. You need to listen to me here," and I'm sure they'll take that phone call quicker than they would mine. I know that. All right, guys.
I think I'm somebody, man.
Yeah, you know, and they need to explore that area too. You know, it's right down the road, and there's a lot of guys that are not getting looked at. Even in Eastern North Carolina down here, I can't think of the guy's name. He came from a school, Hertford County High School over here in Ahoskie. He's playing for ODU, and he's probably going to be a first-round pick, a defensive end.
Man, I got friends I went to school with, and I'm watching their kids playing football, and some of their kids are awesome.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, East Carolina down here recruiting them, right? Like,
yeah,
nah.
They need to be in that area. Who knows? Maybe they are. We just don't know it. And especially with this coach now coming from JMU, they might be doing a little more recruiting in that area now because he's familiar with that area.
You should already know them, man.
Yeah, he should already know. You're exactly right. So you got the Patriots winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I got the Patriots going all the way.
All right, so if that doesn't happen, and we're gonna call Phillip Rivers and tell him he owes you some money.
Man, hey.
Let me tell you.
Nigga, you're going to turn back to the old Phillip Rivers this weekend. You're going to see it.
Okay, we'll see. I'm gonna be talking to you now. I'm gonna be talking to you about it.
All right.
I'll tell you this though. My fantasy league, I did win my championship this year, and you know who I picked up halfway through the year?
Who's that?
Andrew Luck from the Colts.
Man.
And that guy, wow, he put some great numbers for me. I'll tell you another story.
So let me tell you my story about Andrew Luck. So when he first got in the league, I picked him up. He let me down like 5 years in a row, dude.
I'm sorry, but he won it for me this year because he was the championship game. It was when they played Tennessee, and I was down 20-some points, and he was the last player. And he almost let me down because we got within 2 points. He threw that pick six and went back down 11, but he settled down and ended up getting me a win. But let me tell you, when the fantasy playoffs started, I got Todd Gurley as my running back. So, you know how his knee was. He had a knee injury at the last part of the year. Well, the first round of playoffs, I'm sitting here Sunday morning, and they're talking about he's a game-time decision. So I'm contemplating, I'm like, what do I do? So I'll leave him in. All right, so 3 o'clock gets here, and they come across he's inactive. So I'm like, oh, man, what do I do? Well, I couldn't get any of the 1 o'clock game running backs. So I go up to look, C.J. Anderson, who the Panthers had cut, and the Rams signed to take Gurley's spot while he was hurt. I pick him up, and he gets me 37 points. I win by 25.
Wow.
You talking about, and then he gets 30 points the next week that helps me win the next week too. So, I looked up big time with that.
I'm going to tell you another prediction. Dallas going to beat the Rams.
You think Dallas going to beat? No, I would not be surprised at that. Because the Cowboys' defense is much improved, and the Cowboys go how Ezekiel goes.
Right.
When you give Ezekiel the ball, you feed Ezekiel, and he gets the yardage. That Dallas offense is going to flourish. Because Dak, I'm still not sold on Dak yet, but Ezekiel is the real deal.
He's a little sketchy.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of like he ain't got the arm like Cam, but he kind of makes decisions like Cam does sometimes. Right. And don't get me wrong, he had a lot to do with them beating Seattle last week. He made some plays with his legs. That 3rd and 14 where he scrambled up the middle, got down to the 1 yard line, flipped. Yeah, that was big for them. But as far as some of his decision makers, he's still got a lot to prove to me before I buy into Dak Prescott. But Ezekiel is the real deal, and Dallas' defense, to shut down Seattle was the #1 rushing offense in the NFL, and they shut them down. So, you know,
Right.
Gurley's going to have a tough time, and I think it's going to come down to Jared Goff, how he performs, whether the Rams can win that game or not.
And Dallas going to shock them, watch.
It would not, I don't think it, you know, and it really wouldn't be a shock to me, because the Rams have looked as good as they've looked the first part of the year. The last part of the year with these injuries they've had, they haven't looked as good.
Right.
But we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised. So, okay, now we're going with that. What about Eagles and Saints?
See, that's a rough one, man, because you know, the teams offset each other.
Yeah, and you're playing at New Orleans, and
playing in New Orleans, man. So that, you know, I'm gonna get an upper hand to the Saints.
But you
on
know,
that one right
now
there.
you got Nick Foles, who seems to have to be like the wizard. The wizard comes around in December and January. He can do no wrong. So, but I'm like
man,
you.
You know, that Chicago game, man, Eagles, you know, like I said earlier in the interview, like, you know, one of them games you walk off the field, you say you lost but you won.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, you know, what do you think that kicker? You think that kicker was able to stay in Chicago that night?
Nah, he probably had to get out of town.
I know he got booed off the field, and some of the reactions from the crowd that you saw on like Facebook and Twitter later, you know, I wouldn't want to hang around there if I was him. So let's see. You got the Patriots on the other side. What about the Colts and the Chiefs?
I think I'm gonna get the Chiefs the upper hand on that game right there.
Okay, you like Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I like him. Yeah,
I like him too. I like him too. You know, 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. That's a pretty good season for your second year. That would have been a good one to pick up in fantasy league, but I didn't get that lucky.
Yeah, was he in my fantasy? Yeah, I think somebody picked him up early.
Yeah. I never thought, though, you know, I never thought he would have that kind of season. I thought he'd be good, but I didn't think he'd have this kind of season.
So this is his first year starting.
His first year starting. He actually started his rookie year. He started the last game of the year, which was, you know, pretty much a throwaway game. But this is his first year as a full-time starter.
First full season starting.
It's kind of like they kind of did him like Marino back with the Dolphins.
Right.
You know, Marino had some starts later in his rookie year, but then that first year he was a full-time starter. That's when Marino went off, when he had Duper and Clayton. You know, it was just, Marino was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep up with this stuff. We're gonna write this stuff down, and we're gonna see how close me and you go. We're gonna, you know, we'll see who gets the upper hand, and it'll come Super Bowl Sunday.
That's right. I'm telling you, Patriots are gonna be there.
Patriots. I got the Chargers. You got the Patriots. So we'll find out after this weekend who's gonna be right. So.
Right.
All right, Mr. Johnson. I really appreciate you talking to me tonight, man. It's been great. Love talking football with you. Love talking about ECU. You know, it's been great. Like I told you the other night, thanks for making me a fan. Because, you know, it's just hard to believe I'm talking to a guy I sat here watching on TV and pull for so hard. But thank you again for taking this time out of your busy schedule and doing this interview with me.
I appreciate you, man. You know, I appreciate you letting me have this radio interview, man.
All right, man. No problem. Anytime you want to talk about football, you just let me know. We'll get you on the air again.
Yeah, we talk again after this weekend.
All right. I'll talk to you.
All right, man.
All right, you have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right, that's Dion Johnson, guys.